Hi there, Josie here. I'm the human behind Rockin' Bobbin. This week's video is going to be a slightly belated 2025 knitting intentions video. I'm planning to do a low buy. I'm not so sure I can do a no buy for yarn this year, but I can definitely do a low buy year. I also apologize for any jumping noises you may hear. My little kitties are jumping around in the background playing with each other. But anyway, I plan to do a low buy yarn year because I have more than enough yarn in stash and I would like to pare it down a little bit, especially going into the hand-dyed yarn sphere. So to start off, this year I would like to start off by clearing my needles and getting everything, all my UFOs and whips done and over with, and then I'm gonna dive into my stash. So first, I'm gonna start with any of my unfinished projects. I won't give too much information on them, purely because I'll be doing another knitting podcast this month, so that'll have more information about some of my whips. Anyway, let's get started. I have some notes off to the side, so if you see me looking off to the side, that's what that is. But I have about 6 or 7 whips on the needles right now. The one I'm most excited about right now is the Seaway Pullover by Ozetta. It has just enough excitement with the way the cables are that it keeps me wanting to knit on it all the time. So I have to tell myself to stop. That one I am knitting in 1 strand of Drops Lima in the color Petrol, I believe. And then if you've been following along, you've definitely seen my September hat. It's slow growing. It's a slow growing project, and I may have not made the correct size, so it might be a little small in the end, so that might be what's keeping me from working on that one a lot. And I also have my Mam's cardigan by Teti. This one's knit in 2 strands of Plotalope and 1 strand of Drops Flora. I believe the Plotalope is in their Galaxy colorway. It's got specks of blue and red and yellow in it. And then the Drops Flora is just in black. And then I have, I believe it's the Azelle Pullover by Joanne Ho. That might not be the right pattern name, but I have the front panel of it started and almost done. But that one's been a whip for a really long time. And I want the finished product, but it just takes more brain power, I think, to get that one going. And then I also have the Jenny sweater by Petite Knit on the needles. I started this one just before Christmas because I was super excited about it. But it has not gotten a lot of progress at all. I've been having some wrist pain as of late, so I really have to be careful about how much I'm knitting and how small the needles are. The last 2 I have on the needles are the Cherry Twist scarf, which is in the 52 Weeks of Scarves book by Lane Magazine. I do not remember the pattern designer's name, but I'm making this one as a gift for my sister for Christmas next year. I'm prepping ahead of time so that I'm not just gift knitting at the end of the year, because my motivation to knit goes way down when I do that. And then finally, I have the Sweet Shop blanket by Laura Penrose. I'm using her like base pattern, so to speak, but instead of splitting the squares to be half main color, half a contrast color, I'm just gonna do plain like one color squares, but I'm gonna use her numbers and her calculations in the pattern for the blanket. I just didn't know how to do like a, what say you mitered square blanket, I think is what it's called. So I just needed a pattern to follow. Okay, and behind me is basically all of my stash yarn. I know it's not great to see, but I pulled out a few that I almost assuredly want to use this year, if possible. The cats have moved closer, so if they're shaking on the camera, it's them. Anyway, I pulled out a few skeins of yarn that I'm almost assuredly want to use this year to make sure my stash gets smaller. First off, I want to use this pairing, which is from Lavender Fiber Co. It's the Dreamy Sock Base, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And the Baby Surrey base, which is 74% Baby Surrey alpaca and 26% silk. I'm gonna make a shawl, hopefully in time for my wedding, from the 52 Weeks of Scarves book that I mentioned earlier in the video. I believe it's the Wildflower Shawl, but that might be just the name that I have in my head because it has flowers on it. But if you have that book, I think you know which one I'm talking about. And then I have a sweater quantity of this Lavender Fiber Co. City of Emeralds Classic DK. And I want to use this for the, I apologize if I butcher this name, but I want to use this one for the Wanaka sweater by Andy Knits. It looks like a really nice like drop shoulder Henley type pattern, and I think this green is just beautiful. I'm a sucker for Lavender Fiber Co. yarn. It's always so nice and her colors are so pretty. And then going away from hand-dyed yarn, I'm going to mix I want to try to do a color work pattern, probably a pair of mittens for myself, but I have one of these plates of an unknown unspun white yarn and 2 plates of the same unknown unspun but in green. And then I'm gonna hold those with some Issier mohair. in pretty similar colors, and I don't know what pattern I'm gonna use yet. So if you have any ideas of what might be good, I only have these two colors and I have less of the white. So I want to do this one, I just don't know what I'm gonna do yet. And then another gift knit that I'm planning, but not sure if I'll be able to go through with, just based on the quantity of yarn, but I have this Let Low Be, which is a nice rustic yarn. I figured I could make something felted with it. Unfortunately, I don't know how much yarn I would need for what I'm hoping to make. So I want to make Knitting Traditions had mentioned probably a good while ago in many of her knitting podcasts about a like felted slipper where you make like the inside and outside and you fold it into itself. So I probably don't have enough yarn for that, but if I can figure out how much I need and figure out how to use this up, I might try to maybe buy more Let Low Be just to do that pattern and make this like part of it, like the toes and the heel or something. But that'll be a gift knit for my father-in-law. I already have my mother-in-law's gift made and ready for next year Christmas, so I just gotta get on to his. So, and then I have other stash yarn and different sweater quantities that already have projects assigned to them. I just don't know if I'll get to them this year because it'll take long enough doing all of those. I also intend to spin more this year and learn maybe different plying techniques or different how to spin different fibers that I haven't spun yet. I started spinning a few years ago, but it's been off and on and not super consistent. So I'm hoping that I can improve that skill this year. I also hope to maybe visit some local farms that have sheep or alpacas or animals that they may need help shearing and see if I can learn more about that process, because last year I learned how to process a sheep fleece, and I think it'd be really cool to learn how to shear a sheep, or at least see how it's done. Yeah, 2025 is going to be a big year for me, I think, and maybe a little less knitting, but lots of fiber related activities on the books. Just in case you are new and don't know, I am hoping to launch Rockin' Bobbin's online shop April 1st, and I have some nice spring colors coming out April 1st for that. I think I'm going to pick 4 yarn bases to start, and maybe 4 or 5 colors to start when I launch, just so that it's not super overwhelming. And then those colors will be in stock, so to speak, so it's not just like a one and done pre-order. I don't want to feed into the I gotta get it now feeling that a lot of those pre-orders do. I understand if that's the business model that works, but I want to be able to build a business that feels more sustainable to me. So make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I really hope to see you in the next one. You all have a good day or night or whatever time it is wherever you are. Thanks for watching.